All right, so dominance over your ego. Dominance over your ego. For those of you who may not know, the ego is that function of the brain that tends to communicate to you these daily thoughts that may have come from your past or that came from an experience earlier in the day. It's those natural, organic feeling thoughts, right? Now, the ego sometimes tries to put us in a position of safety. It tries to keep us safe from all hurt, harm, and danger, right? Just imagine when you're driving your car. I'm not sure if I'm the only one experiencing this when I'm driving my car. Sometimes sometimes I get a thought to just crash that whole, like, if I was just to turn in the wrong direction, it's over with. But that's the ego telling me, like, Tone, keep driving straight to keep me safe. Or when you want to jump in a waterfall and you know it's too deep for you and you don't know how to swim, but you're thinking about it, the ego will tell you, Tone, don't jump off that cliff to keep you safe, right? So to maintain dominance over your ego, which means to control, to influence, and to have strategy over what you're thinking, the best thing to apply is stillness. Stillness separates space between the stimulus of the thought and the reaction that you might give it, whether it's your emotion or whether it's your physical action. So anytime you're realizing the voice in your mind, the ego, is too loud, is too strong, it has a lot of control over you, start to think to yourself, I want to create space between it so you can assert dominance over it. Once you decide to create space between the thought and the reaction, you want to start to commit to your word. Commit to your word, commit to your word, commit to your word. Have you ever woke up one day and you had a whole day ahead of you? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But the body is like, no, we ain't doing that. We resting today because I'm feeling physically tired, or I don't want to physically do it, or I don't want to get up and go to this grocery store, or I don't want to get up and go over this friend's house, or I don't want to go pick up my phone and call this person. Sometimes the body becomes the subconscious mind, even when your conscious mind knows you need to do something. When you begin to commit to your word like it's the law, you will assert dominance over your ego. And not going to cap, Friday, I told myself I was going to do this, this, and this. When Friday happened, I didn't do none of that. I don't know why. I tried to do it, but what had happened was somehow, some way, my energy was redirected to something else that needed my attention, that involved college, that involved going back to school. And I received a lot of clarity, and I took actionable steps to fulfill whatever I was doing in that moment that was different from the goals I had set aside. So I said all of that to say is, you may have a path of how you want your day to look, and you may very well try to commit to those actions. However, in a case that you do not, you always want to pivot into something very similar to being constructive, and very similar to having control over your time and having control over your day, having organized structure, pretty much creating organized structure in your day and committing to your word. So don't say, oh, I'm gonna cook today, and then you don't cook and you eat out. Don't say, all right, I'm gonna cook tomorrow, and you do it and you don't cook again and you eat out again. You want to commit to your word, especially when no one is watching. That's how you assert dominance over your ego. You're telling it how to act. You're telling it how to think. You're telling it how to move. You are the master of your reality. You're manifesting self-mastery every single instance that you tell yourself something and you commit to that. No matter what it is. It could be as little as cleaning out your bathtub. It's mastery over the mind. Homework for the week. Just be aware of things that you tell yourself you're going to do, and be aware of the follow-up of if you're doing it or not. So think to yourself like, all right, what do I normally tell myself I'm going to do on a daily basis? And be aware to see if you commit to those things versus it just kind of flowing with the wind and not even happening. You're going to assert dominance and self-mastery over your ego the more and more you practice this. That's your homework. We setting the tone.